Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
We start in Zamfara, as 3 policemen have been killed in an ambush attack by suspected bandits at a checkpoint in Safi local government area of the state. The checkpoint, located less than 2 kilometers away from Safi town, was attacked in broad daylight at around 1 p.m. on Tuesday. The policemen were reportedly conducting stop and search operation along Funtua-Gudawa highway when the armed bandits launched the attack. The bandits reportedly attacked the checkpoint on foot after leaving their motorbikes in a nearby bush. During the attack, 3 police operatives were shot dead, while 5 others survived the onslaught. Well, let's join Daily Trust regional editor Yushau Adamu to get some more update on this development. Yushau, thank you very much for joining us on the News Hour. What more have we learned about this attack, and precisely what are the authorities doing about it?
Well, the attack, like you have said, was carried out in the daylight. And probably what led to the attack was the recent operation carried out by troops of Operation Hadar and Daji, because they have raided several hideouts of bandits around Fati axis. And probably those that have carried the attack were among the runaway bandits, because the area between Fati and the Magazu, where the operation took place, was a rocky area. So probably these bandits hide around the rocks and maybe ambush the police that were conducting the operation along the Gusau-Puntua road. Because what surprised many people is that at the age of Zamfara, Sapi, while coming from Gusau, there is a checkpoint of military, and after Magazu, there is another checkpoint. So probably they wanted to cross the road. They are from the other side, trying to escape to the other side when they attack the police along the road.
Right, sometimes we get the sense that the bandits or the suspected kidnappers are on the run from security operatives, whether it's Operation Hadar and Daji or some of the vigilante setup that have been helping address this security challenge in Zamfara State over the years. But then again, you hear stories like this and you get a sense that they are capable of these daredevil attacks. What is your reading of the situation? Are the bandits on the run, or are they giving the security operatives a run for their money?
Well, what happened was that the Operation Hadar and Daji have now launched a special operation around the area. So the information we are receiving was that even the kingpin leader Dogo Gide was among the injured bandits that military attacked their hideouts around Fati. So they left their hideouts trying to escape and maybe leave the area. And that is why they are trying to cross from the one side of the road to the other.
Right. Okay. Just give me a sense of how this development is perhaps shaping the opinions of people in Zamfara. I mean, recently we've had youths protest, block a highway just to drive home this message that they need peace in Zamfara. And also the several interventions that have been put in place to address and mitigate the activities of some of these criminal elements, as good as it may be, is still not yielding that much result. What do the communities make of developments like this?
Well, some of the people that I have spoken with are commending the security operatives, because this operation carried out by military has shown that, yes, the security operatives have now changed their tactics. They are following the bandits to their hideouts, not waiting for them until they come out and maybe engage them in gunfire. Right. So now they are moving them to their hideouts, maybe chasing them away, raiding their hideouts and what have you.
Right. Yushau Adamu, we're going to have to leave it here for now. Thank you very much for the update.
Thank you so much.
Right. Yushau Adamu, the Daily Trust regional editor, speaking to us on that development from Zamfara State, where an ambush was made on a police checkpoint that led to the death of 3 police officers. Elsewhere, 16 villagers in Gaidam local government area of Yobe State have been confirmed killed by Boko Haram insurgents in a Monday morning attack. 4 others sustained injuries in the attack on Nguro village in the outskirts of Gaidam local government area and are currently receiving medical treatment at Gaidam Specialist Hospital. The attack, according to a source, may be connected to the refusal of farmers in the area to pay levies imposed by Boko Haram insurgents. When contacted, the Assistant Director of Public Relations Officer, Operation Lafia Dole, Captain Muhammad Shehu, confirmed the incident, saying the terrorists alleged that the villagers were divulging information to troops who were flushing out the insurgents from their hideouts. Still talking security, police in Niger State have arrested a 14-year-old girl suspected in connection with the murder of Associate Professor Adefolalu Fumilola Sharifat, a lecturer with the Department of Biochemistry at the Federal University of Technology, Minna, in Niger State. The suspect, who worked as a housemaid for the deceased lecturer, was reportedly laid off just 2 days before the deceased was killed. The spokesperson of the Niger State Police Command, DSP Wasiu Abiodun, while parading the suspect, shared some details of the police investigation.
The incident was reported on Sunday. Actually, they went to the house on Saturday evening. That was on 28th October around 4 p.m. And they moved to the house with a knife. And at the end of the day, they attacked the deceased, stabbed her to death, and with another knife that was picked from the kitchen. However, the suspect is with us. We'll also hear further details from her. Our investigation is ongoing to also arrest these said Walex and Smart, who are presently at large. But so far, so good. This is the update we have brought forward.
Me and some other guys went to our house, and our intention was to beat her and deal with her. But one of them that was called Walex was with knife, so he was one that stabbed her.
Really tragic. Now, away from security-related matters, President Tinubu has intervened in the brewing tensions in Rivers State, leading to a likely ceasefire between Governor Fubara and Nyesom Wike, the 2 main actors in the crisis. Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed disclosed this to newsmen at the State House in Abuja after a meeting of the National Police Council. State House correspondent Kehinde Amodu reports.
The pictures coming out of Rivers State is indicative of intractable differences between camps, with allegations upon allegations coming from only one side. Amid the dust, 26 members of the Assembly suspended the Speaker and elected and inaugurated a new Speaker. The governor is pointing accusing fingers at his predecessor, who he claims is trying to push him out of office. But when the 2 men met at the presidential Villa Abuja for the National Police Council on Tuesday, none of those tensions bubbled to the fore. So the biggest news of the day was Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed's revelation after the meeting that President Tinubu had intervened in the crisis in Rivers State.
We had a closed session, if you recall, members of the press, where a very serious national issue was discussed that has security implication, that is the problem emerging in rivers. The president, in his usual leadership position, intervened, and then it would appear there will be peace in that respect. And so
Governor Mohammed was so happy with the intervention that he commended President Tinubu for showing leadership.
And so in that token, the governors of the PDP, on their behalf, I spoke and extolled the leadership quality of the president, congratulated him on behalf of the president, and expressing appreciation that all the PDP governors who had gone through the tribunal have emerged victorious. We know that is leadership. There was professionalism in the conduct and the way and manner the judiciary is working under his leadership. And he has shown that he is a president for everybody, a president for PDP, a president for APC.
It remains to be seen if the negotiated settlement would lead to both sides sheathing swords. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
Well, in a related development, the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum has welcomed the intervention of President Bola Tinubu into the crisis in Rivers State, calling on all parties to sheath their sword. Now, this was contained in a communique issued by the governors on Tuesday evening after a meeting at Oyo State Governor's Lodge in Abuja to discuss the crisis in the rich oil state and other national issues. The PDP governors say they were alarmed at the recent developments in Rivers State and welcomed the intervention of President Bola Tinubu to bring the crisis to an end. Now, today's meeting came in the wake of the crisis in the oil-rich state, where there was an attempt by the State House of Assembly to impeach Governor Simi Fubara. In other political news, the Social Democratic Party SDP has expressed deep concerns over the political atmosphere in Kogi State ahead of the November 11 governorship election. Addressing a news conference in Abuja on the state of affairs in Kogi, National Chairman of the SDP, Shehu Gabam, called on President Bola Tinubu to guarantee security and safety of all political actors in light of the heightened tensions ahead of the election.
I want to appeal to the President. This will be the first, the biggest test of his will as the President and Commander-in-Chief to conduct election in the 3 off-season election. Unfortunately, whether by design or otherwise, the 3 states have their own pocket of insecurity. But the height of it is Kogi State that worries everybody. In the past elections, it is the same Kogi that have created this panic in the land. If you could remember, we as a party, we suffered tremendously in Kogi State. Our offices were burnt down, people were killed and maimed. All parties became victims. A PDP woman was burned to ashes in her own house. That is how callous and inhuman we are. And that is not what democracy is about. Democracy is about humanity, it's about dividends of democracy, it's about restoration of decency and integrity of the citizens.
Now, residents in Jos, the Plateau State capital, are reacting to the proposal made by former Vice President and presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the last general election, Atiku Abubakar, for a single 6-year term for Nigerian presidents. Atiku made the statement on Monday during a media briefing in Abuja in reaction to the concluded judgment by the Supreme Court, which ruled against him and the PDP. Ado Musa tells us more.
Although this is not the first time Atiku and other Nigerians are proposing a 6-year single term for the president, the former vice president this time is emphasizing on the constitution amendments to include this proposal aimed at strengthening the country's democracy and electoral process. Atiku said the single 6-year term for the president should be rotated among the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Some residents of Jos, however, bear their minds on the Atiku's proposal.
Well, I think it's a nice idea because that will create, that 6 years will create a kind of a competition between the North and the South. Because she said that it should be a shared, that once you finish that 6 years, once the North finish 6 years, then the South too should take it. I think that will create a more competitive Nigeria than we are having now.
I think this is a welcome idea, given the fact that the powers, once you rule for 6 years, then at least there is going to be a shift of power from the north to the south. Then I think it should be looked into.
To be sincere, is a very good suggestion. But all Nigerians will have to look into it very carefully. We're looking forward to a country whereby all of us will have an understanding of each other. What will bring peace, what will bring fair representation is what we want. I therefore say yes, it is a very good suggestion.
Sharif Omotayo, a lecturer at the Department of Political Science of University of Jos, believes that the proposal, if implemented, will help address the imbalances in the country.
Of course, it is political, and democracy is about accommodating different and diverse political views. It should not be seen as a winner-takes-all situation, because it doesn't augur well for social cohesion and inclusivity, if that is what we want. The experience of Boko Haram, the Southeast hype-up and what have you, even from the Middle Belt, you have cries everywhere of people feeling that they have not been taken along or carried along in the power equation in the country. So it is something that is worth taking a serious look at and being seriously considered, particularly at the level of constitutional amendment.
According to the former vice president, allowing the single time for the president will help prevent what he described as ganging up of two or more geopolitical zones to alternate the presidency among themselves to the exclusion of other zones. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Back here in Abuja, the ongoing FCT master plan restoration work under FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has hit Jabi district with the demolition of a traditional palace. The demolition team began work on Tuesday morning as residents watch in dismay, registering their disapproval of the demolition exercise. Trust TV's Kabir Lawal witnessed the demolition and sent in this report.
What goes around comes around. That is the feeling in Jabi area as the Federal Capital Territory Administration takes its bulldozers to the palace of 97-years-old Dekachi Yakubu Aucha. What was once a structure representing traditional authority has been turned into rubbles. Dekachi Yakubu expressed his dissatisfaction with the development while emphasizing his contribution as community leader to the development of the Federal Capital Territory over the years.
Ni ba san laifin da nayi ba, kuma aka zo na ga ka tafiya ya zo.
I was in the inner room and heard a sound, and also people shouting. Before I knew anything, I saw bulldozers and fully armed men. We are not at loggerhead with the government, but we are appealing to the government to come to our rescue. Also speaking, the son of the chief, Yakubu Abubakar, lamented the neglect of traditional history by the government, noting that the palace existed long before Abuja became the Federal Capital Territory.
They started by demolishing our palace without picking anything. The palace chairs, files, in the community, normally we have files where we treat cases of conflict and also some people's agreement just normal way of life. We have files where we keep record.
Residents also expressed dismay at the presence of heavily armed security personnel in the area ahead of the demolition exercise. We are peace-loving people who have been living in peace with one another, irrespective of religion or tribe. We are calling on the government to do the needful, adding that before now, the palace has been used to resolve different cases, which has gone a long way to make the community a better place. The importance of palace cannot be overemphasized. If the palace is being demolished, it will be as if we are not existing. The government should do the needful to make Jabi a better place. Some shops in the area earmarked for demolition were also taken down as business owners count their losses.
I'm managing my life with a shop, and they came without notice to demolish us. My freezers, everything was gone. It is done. It's never done in that way.
The demolition of the palace really pains us a lot because we are no notice. They didn't give us any notice the day they are coming.
The Nyesom Wike-led FCT is doubling down on its promise to restore the Abuja master plan at all costs, with more demolitions expected in few days. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, the National Police Council, presided over by President Bala Tinubu, has confirmed Kayode Egbetokun as the substantive Inspector General of Police. Minister of Police Affairs Ibrahim Gaidam explained to newsmen at the State House in Abuja on Tuesday that the decision was made easy by the new Inspector General's commitment to ensuring peace in all parts of the country. Kende Amodu tells us more.
The 22nd Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, may now hold the record as the IG who has been confirmed within the shortest time frame in the history of police leadership. Members of the National Police Council are in agreement that what recommended the new IG was his reform-oriented approach to policing and security.
During my short period of time of stay as a police Minister of Police Affairs, I worked closely with him. I found him to be very qualified, very honest, very transparent, and very hardworking. So we supported Mr. President's proposal, and we said that he should be confirmed as substantive Inspector General of Police.
Further to what that confirming him now will give him the necessary, confidence to lead his men. And apart from the confirmation, we also talk. The president is also desirous of security sector reforms. We believe that there is need for us to sit down together, critical stakeholders, and take a look again at our internal security management. What are the issues? What are the timelines? What are the implementation strategy that we need to get these ones done? So those were part of the issues that we deliberated upon.
So far, with the few months that the IG has demonstrated as acting IG, it is clear that he knows what is happening in this country. He is concerned about the challenges that we are having. He has been going from some of the states, from one to another. I know for sure he has been to Nasarawa State a couple of times. And we believe very strongly that he will pick it up from there. As a matter of fact, he presented the position of the security situation in the country, and from what he presented and the map out of where to go, it is very clear that he understands the challenges of security that we are having as it relates to the police.
President Bala Tinubu had just over 3 months ago appointed Egbetokun as the acting Inspector General of Police. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
To the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives has passed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 2.17 trillion naira request through second reading. The President had written to the House seeking the approval for a supplementary appropriation bill of 2.17 trillion naira. In a letter read at plenary, the Speaker of the House, Abbas Tajuddin, says the supplementary budget is aimed at addressing labor wage adjustment, security, and other matters. In addition to the supplementary budget, the President also sent the 2024-2026 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper to the House of Representatives for consideration. Speaking after the consideration of the supplementary budget, the Chairman, House Committee on Appropriations, Honorable Abubakar Bichi, noted that the supplementary budget was a welcome idea by the President that will meet the needs and aspirations of Nigerians.
Because, we have serious challenge for the food security in the nations. And I think that one is also wonderful and is commendable to from the executives. And we're also looking to it. If there's a need to increase it, we can. If there's a need to leave it like that, we can leave it like that. But I think it's well presentable, and the President has done very well for this budget. The President has also introduced about 200 billion to close the gap of 35,000 increasement, which he has promised to the civil servants. And for works, is critical roads across 6 geopolitical zones, from north, west, south, and everywhere in this country, as well as the housing deficit. From what we have seen so far, the President wants to construct 42,000 housing across 6 geopolitical zones. So likely it's going to be more than 200,000 to 300,000 units.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, we tell you a story of a local aphrodisiac that is going out of production. More on this and many other stories after the break. Join us again.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
As a demonstration of its commitment to provide sustained access to basic healthcare for all Nigerians, the federal government of Nigeria, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, has established the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, BHCPF. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is designed to deploy operations fund directly to primary healthcare facilities in every political ward nationwide to ensure the availability of quality PHC services to all Nigerians, irrespective of where they live or work. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund guarantees 24 hours availability of midwives, other health workers, and health supplies in at least one PHC in every political ward. Ask from your local government health department for the BHCPF PHC in your ward to get more information and benefit from the services. Think access to healthcare for all. Think universal health coverage. Think Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Health and National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA. For further inquiries, call the NPHCDA toll-free number 7722 or visit www.nphcda.gov.ng.
If you desire to fulfill your Hajj obligation but cannot afford to pay at a go, you need not to worry anymore. Jaiz Bank PLC, in collaboration with National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACAN, and the State Pilgrims Welfare Boards have jointly introduced Hajj Savings Scheme to help you fulfill your wish. Whether you're a cattle rearer, a farmer, a petty trader, or a parent who wishes to start saving for their children and be getting profit at the same time, this scheme is for you. Visit any of the Jaiz Bank branches or Hajj Commission offices nearest to you to enroll, or go to www.hajsavings.jaizbankplc.com to register. For further information, contact info@jaizbankplc.com or call the number 070-077-30000.
The early history of human existence can be traced to the heart of northern Nigeria. Here, archaeologists found evidence of a group of people who sculpted clay and developed tools to smelt iron. The local artifacts tell the tale of skilled craftsmen. Evidence of ironworking and tools date from roughly the 7th century BCE at Taruga, near Abuja. The fertile lands around the Kaduna River provided the perfect settlement for this thriving civilization. This is the area largely referred to as the Nak culture. Red-colored earthenware sculptures called terracotta were found within a 500-kilometer radius of Taruga.
Welcome back to the News Hour. Thank you very much for staying with us. A quick reminder of our top stories. 3 policemen killed as bandits attack checkpoint in Zamfara. PDP governors welcome President Tinubu's intervention in Rivers' political crisis. Now, Nigerians in the United Arab Emirates have decried the delay in resolving the diplomatic row between Nigeria and the Middle Eastern country. They urged the federal government of Nigeria to urgently interface with the UAE authorities to lift the ban on work permit and visa issuance to Nigerians, as many are experiencing hard times on account of the diplomatic quagmire. Reports say those currently working in the UAE are living in fear of losing their jobs, while many legitimate businesses or residents, rather, are unable to find jobs because of a ban on work permits. Daily Trust reports that many Nigerians who secured jobs at top companies in the UAE remain stranded as authorities refuse issuing fresh residency permits and visas. President Bala Tinubu had 7 weeks ago visited the UAE to resolve the lingering diplomatic row between Nigeria and the UAE, which had seen the UAE flag carrier Emirates suspend their flights to Nigeria. After the visit, Tinubu's spokesperson Ajurin Gilali has said the UAE has agreed to lift the visa ban, and the UAE carriers like Emirates and Etihad will soon resume flights to the country. Government officials, including the Minister of Aviation Festus Keyamo, SAN, later said discussions were still ongoing. Well, let's unpack that a little bit. Join us on the program is a retired diplomat. Haruna Warkani is joining us on the news hour tonight. Mr. Warkani, thank you very much for making the time. I appreciate you for joining us. They always say, never count your chickens before they hatch. It appears that we did 7 weeks ago when that announcement was made. As a diplomat, from your experience, how easy is it to untangle what was a very contentious issue between Nigeria and the UAE?
Well, thank you, viewers. These are terrain that one would say might be new to some people, and we must accept this government is just coming in, and therefore you have challenges of the deeper understandings of diplomatic maneuverings. Yes, pronouncements were made in that regard that visa ban was going to be lifted or reviewed. The full implementation of the BASA, that's by bilateral air services agreement between our countries. However, in the area of diplomacy, a lot is usually done behind the scene. And these behind the scene moves could take quite some time. That's why sometimes the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of a particular country could be accused of maybe doing nothing, because people don't see physically what is happening every day. And such negotiations are rather complex, oftentimes. In the case of Nigeria in particular, you remember the real reasons why the diplomatic row came up was the inability of the government then and now to pay up the amounts owed to these airlines in this country. They have rendered services to Nigeria, right, and money was not available to pay them.
Yeah, but what do you say about the Tinubu administration's guarantee that those funds will be eventually repatriated? They would make them available in the time to come. Why are those guarantees not enough to fast-track this process?
Well, we must contextualize this in the sense that Nigeria is struggling economically. And as we can see, the national currency is having its own challenges almost on a daily basis, lack of stability, etc., etc. So let's assume the country even has the intention to say, okay, come and take your money. You will be surprised that on a daily basis, you wouldn't even know how much now the particular amount of dollar amounts to be repatriated by these entities. Therefore, we have this difficulty of getting to action, the actual work that needs to be done. Right. Where is the money coming from what source? And this is not the only thing that the country has to grapple with.
Right. So the situation is partly economic, partly administrative, largely political. I mean, how do you explain it to Nigerians, especially those that remain stranded in the UAE right now? Their jobs are at stake. I mean, even their lives and their safety is not guaranteed because they don't have the necessary papers.
Well, yes, this let's consider this as fallouts of the actual diplomatic row that broke out. because these Nigerians that are really there are innocent. They don't even know some of these things are actually taking place because it's behind the scene. And so a nation like ours needs to strengthen the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to do much more, because Ministry of Foreign Affairs touches almost everything: economy, politics, security, etc. And we also need to manage our human relations in this respect a little better, because the erstwhile minister, who would say, of aviation did not help matters, because some of the comments made that infuriated some of these airlines to eventually pull out were very unnecessary, diplomatically speaking. And so we need to come back home, sit down and work out something feasible. And you recall when the government spokesman said, or made the announcement after the meeting in Abu Dhabi, there were some denials.
Right.
So all those things need to be tidied up before we can see appreciable responses and actions both here and in UAE.
Right. And finally, just before we go, from your experience, how long does it usually take to get back to normalize relations?
Well, you can't put a time frame, because it depends on the complexities of what is at stake. And in this manner, we are talking about economy because of our businesses of these airlines. And don't forget, Nigeria doesn't have a flag carrier that you would say, or a national carrier. And so we are in a weaker position negotiating with a country that has two flag carriers. So it might take a little more time. And when you stop a particular project and restart, restarting is as difficult as what one can imagine. And so we must be prepared to wait for some little more time, and then maybe the government needs to also do much more than it has done before now.
Right. Okay. We're going to have to leave it for now, because this is a developing issue, especially when you consider what many Nigerians in the UAE are going through at the moment, having that refusal by the authorities to issue work permits or even visas that are up for renewal. Mr. Haruna Warakani, as always, we appreciate your expert analysis on this conversation. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's take a look at some of the day's other news stories now. The House of Representatives has summoned the Humanitarian Affairs Minister, Bala Edu, seeking details of the process and criteria to be used in selecting the 15 million households as beneficiaries of the federal government's 1.1 trillion naira conditional cash transfer. This followed the adoption of a motion by Representative Moruf Adebayo on Tuesday. The lawmaker says the removal of fuel subsidy has necessitated various intervention programs and policies to alleviate economic hardship for families and small businesses. Adebayo, however, expressed concerns about the transparency and effectiveness of previous palliative programs for vulnerable Nigerians. The lawmaker noted concerns about corruption and fraud in previous conditional cash transfer programs, where funds intended for vulnerable people were misappropriated by individuals. The Tinubu administration recently launched the Renewed Hope Conditional Cash Transfer Scheme to target 15 million households with 25,000 naira financial support for 3 months. Right, grain marketers in Bauchi State have denied claims linking them to the soaring prices of food items across Bauchi. The marketers say the federal government needs to improve collaboration with local stakeholders to ensure food security across Nigeria. Trust TV's Adamu Imam visited the market and filed in this report.
The Room Market is located at Ganjua local government area. The popular grain market serves different communities as well as visitors on a weekly basis. With emphasis on food crisis, especially assorted grains, traders have expressed concern over instability in grain prices. Honestly, the price is higher. The situation in the market is not encouraging. We sold sack of millet for 40,000 naira. Beans per measure is 800 naira and above, or we reduce 20 naira for customers only. Before, maize is 500 naira, now is 450. So the prices are coming down, and we are hoping if sorghum start coming to the market, other grains price will fall too. We don't increase price overnight. It's the situation of the market. If we get them higher, we sell higher. Less, we sell less to customers. But we hope this difficulty will soon be over. Farmers, on the other hand, explain why they usually rush to sell their grains after harvest. We have our demands. That is why we cannot eat all the grains we cultivated. So that is why I brought my sorghum now and sold at 57,000 naira per sack. That is the major reason. But it is not what others think. We have sufficient of grains. We just want to solve family problems. We are ready to farm, but the financial strength is our concern. We need loans to involve ourselves fully in farming activities. Moreover, we can't hold all we cultivated. We pay back the loan after selling our grains. There are many young farmers like me willing to farm and contribute to the nation's food security. We eat what is left and then back to the market to buy. Both stakeholders appeal to government to help more local farmers in the country as they contribute to food security of the country. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now, laundry services have come a long way in Nigeria, providing thousands of jobs and meeting the needs of millions of Nigerians on a daily basis. Now, these services have been transformed over the years and expanded from the old mabuga, where traditional methods and tools are used, to modern practices where innovation has simplified the process. The age-old practice is now facing stiff competition from modern outlets, as Trust TV's Bello Musa reports on the survival of the businesses in the industry.
This practice has been around for hundreds of years, meeting the needs of individuals who want their laundry done by professionals. Zaria is home to some of the oldest mabuga in northern Nigeria. Our forefathers started mabuga and dyeing of clothes about 400 years ago. They started because then there was no pressing iron. The ancient practice may seem crude and tasking, but practitioners in the industry say there's still a growing demand for the old ways despite the incursion of modernity. Even if clothes are old, if we pressed it here with this wood, it will appear new, and this embroidery design will be shiny and attractive. Although modern practice has taken over a significant portion of the business, Okasha takes pride in the connection between the business and traditional northern culture. White men came, they met our forefathers practicing mabuga, and later they invented pressing iron. People from Adamawa, Katsina and Jigawa and other states send their clothes here because historically only Zaria and Sokoto do this work. Before now, there are at least 30 mabuga outfits across Zaria, with only a few in operation now. cultural festivals have become the lifeline for this business to stay afloat. The current economic climate is also threatening the survival of the age-long business. In a day, we only treat 300 to 400 clothes due to economic situation in the country. But before, we would start work from 5 o'clock in the morning and closed at midnight. With Nigerians' current unemployment rate at 4.1%, Mabuga practitioners are calling for government intervention that will keep the business alive to create employment opportunities for the next generation. Bella Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Now, Governor Babagana Umar Zulum has called leaders across Nigeria and Africa to take action against the challenges of climate change, which is causing floods, desertification, destroying farmlands, displacing people, and creating situations that lead to death. Now, he stated this during the 23rd International Conference and 43rd Annual General Meeting organized by the Nigerian Institute of Agricultural Engineers in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The governor called on the federal and state governments to address the impact of climate change and tackle poverty as well as economic challenges, explaining that it will reduce hardship and food insecurity in the country.
As a government, we have always been mindful of climate change issues in the conception, delivery and management of our various projects, including the use of renewable energy in the powering of structures, facilities and operations, especially with solar energy, thereby reducing our carbon footprints. So we as agricultural engineers must be committed to tackling climate change and providing sustainable solutions to climate change. However, as we seek to do this, we are equally aware of our pressing concerns that must be addressed.
Climate change is impacting human lives and health in a variety of ways. It threatens the essential ingredients of good health, clean air, safe drinking water, nutritious food supply, and safe shelter.
Well, to something closely related, snort apple, commonly known as Goron Tula, is a sweet fruit cultivated in a part of Gombe and is considered by many as an aphrodisiac. Now, this makes the fruit popular with both men and women who buy it for its taste and medicinal value. The fruit is fast becoming scarce due to environmental factors like deforestation, and traders are now concerned it may go out of cultivation or circulation. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail visited Tula to file in this report.
Despite its not too appealing look, Goron Tula is sweet and highly sought after by women due to its properties as an aphrodisiac. Tula is widely known as the town of this popular fruit, with a huge demand from different parts of the country. On the average, a measure of Goron Tula sells for 2,000 naira. For the past 2 years, Daniel Adamu has been a supplier of the fruit.
My major customers, most of them are females, and some of them are men. But the most of them are female. Just for their pleasure, take it for their own pleasure. And you know, some people cannot explain what they're using it for. They just buy it and go.
The snort apple tree usually grows in the wild with little or no human support. Goron Tula has become part of the identity of this town. As such, the peculiarity of farming the fruit is a good opportunity for traders like Daniel to make profit.
Really, I've achieved a lot because I used to pay my house rent with it, with what I get from it. And I can't precisely say in a month this is what I get because it depends on the markets. Sometimes we have markets, sometimes we don't have customers. But it has been of good help to me because I used to pay my house rent, my children's school fees, and I take care of myself too and my family.
For Daniel, there is a concern over the decreasing number of trees that bear the fruit due to deforestation by locals. This trend, if left unchecked, may likely push traders like Daniel out of business.
The activities of some other people that are ignorant of it, they used to cut the trees without even minding that it's very important. And sometimes even the younger ones that are growing, they don't used to take care of them. They used to cut it down. So I'm afraid maybe sometimes this Goron Tula will not be longer in existence.
It is observed that there is scarcity of the product in the market due to low production. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. We'll take a quick break. More news after this.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back to the news. Now, Tropical General Investment, TGI, is a leading international investment and holding company that is advancing agricultural revolution in Nigeria. The company, with its target-specific interest in fast-moving consumer goods, agricultural inputs, industrial chemicals, home care products, and pharmaceuticals, has made significant investment in rice and sesame value chains across Kebbi and Jigawa State. In this special report, Ayuba Ilya takes a look at TGI and its impact as an industry player.
Tropical General Investment Group, a leading international investment and holding company, is revolutionizing the agricultural sector in Nigeria using locally sourced materials, state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities, and a highly skilled workforce. With diversified investment across the globe, TGI is a manufacturer of fast-moving consumer goods, food and agricultural products, chemicals, and pharmaceuticals. Founded in 1980, Tropical General Investment Group has since expanded its scope of operation with 19 diverse subsidiary companies, one of which is Wakat Limited.
To wannan amfani gaskiya muna biyan bukata sosai da shi, dan ni nayi gina da shi ta sanadiyar takin wakwa da muka ansa ni noma na samu amfani ta abin ya bunƙasa gaskiya.
We at WACOT are highly committed and are partnering along with the government to fulfill the agriculture revolution agenda of Nigeria in order to make Nigeria self-sufficient in terms of rice.
We grew from a modest production of about 350,000 tons per annum, combined seasons, that's wet and dry season. Today, the average production, I just got the 2022 figures, 2.9 million metric tons.
Through WACOT's social initiatives, thousands of women and youth have been empowered, in addition to its programs impacting healthcare, water supply, and skills acquisition.
When we're engaging with community farmers, with smallholder farming communities, and we need field officers, we need extension agents, what better place to get these people, than the communities where these farmers are actually situated.
WACOT has participated tremendously in the execution of the last event. They sponsored and provided prizes for the best fishermen with the biggest catch. They also provided sponsored and provided prizes for the best rice farmers, male and female, and the general organization of the festival.
Brought a lot of development, not only in Gumen local government or Emirate, in the entire Jigawa state.
More than 150 demonstration farms have been established to promote good agricultural practices to mechanize the production of cocoa, maize, rice, cotton, and soybeans.
And now on the international scene, Gaza's Interior Ministry says an Israeli airstrike has hit an apartment block building in a residential area of Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza, killing and wounding hundreds of people. Director of nearby Indonesian hospital says at least 50 people have been killed. Israeli troops push deeper into Gaza, with witnesses reporting heavy clashes after tanks reach a residential area in Gaza City. Bombardments reported across the besieged territory as Prime Minister Netanyahu rejected calls for a ceasefire. At least 8,525 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza in Israeli attacks since October 7. More than 1,400 Israelis have been killed. Jabalia is the largest of the Gaza Strip's 8 refugee camps. The camp houses 3 UN-run schools, which have been converted into shelters for hundreds of displaced families. And in sports, Super Falcons of Nigeria put up a magnificent second-half performance to reach the third round of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games qualifiers, beating Lucies of Ethiopia 4-0 at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abuja after drawing 1-1 in the first leg in Addis Ababa. Uche Nakano scored the opening goal for Nigeria in the 45th minute before Ajibade scored the second goal in the 50th minute and with an assist from Azizat Oshoala. FC Barcelona Femini star Oshoala scored the third goal for Nigeria into the second half with a header, and Atleti Madrid Femini striker Rashidat Ajibade scored the fourth goal to make it 4-0 in the 72nd minute to give Nigeria the much-deserved victory. Ethiopia showed class in the first half of the match to force the Super Falcons out in the second half. The Super Falcons will now face the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon, who defeated Uganda 3-0 or 3-2 rather on aggregate in the next round of the qualifiers. You just imagine the Super Falcons playing the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. What a watch. Anyway, that is it on the bulletin tonight. Thank you most kindly for joining us. We do appreciate you for your time and company. A quick reminder, you can follow us across our social media platforms to catch up with more of our contents. Please visit trusttv.com for the latest news. From the rest of the team, my name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for watching the news and good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.